Is Dave Filoni making Anakin Skywalker the next Celestial, potentially replacing the father from Mortis? Let's talk about it.
I would certainly like to.
So if you watched my breakdown of episode 4, which you should definitely do, you might remember that I mentioned a theory I had that Anakin isn't actually Anakin at the end of the episode, rather the son of Mortis posing to take the life of the person who has the essence of the daughter of Mortis within her, which is obviously Ahsoka. Well, I don't think that that theory is invalid. I have put some more thought into it, as well as expanded on other theories from Josh at the Den of Nerds. Shout out to him, by the way, and his crazy looking comic book Unity, theorizing that Anakin could rather take the place of the father from Mortis. And to be honest, this just makes more sense. Let's start by stating what we learn about the Mortis gods throughout the Mortis arc in the Clone Wars. The family of so-called gods are the father, son, and daughter. The father being a perfect balance between good and evil, very similar to how the Bendu in Star Wars Rebels is. The daughter being pure light and the son representing pure evil. Now the father knows Anakin is the chosen one and he wants Anakin to replace him as the father. Throughout the entirety of the Mortis arc, the father's intention was to show Anakin that he is the next perfect fit to become the next father of Mortis. On to the next point, being that the father literally cannot control his kids anymore, and he wants Anakin to take his place because he knows that he can. We see the gods set up a trap where the daughter and son are holding Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. The daughter and son are told to grasp them up and fly around the arena and make Anakin choose one of them to live and the other one to die. And sure enough, Anakin didn't want either his master or apprentice dead, and takes both of the gods down with little to no struggle. Now it's important to note that Mortis isn't just a planet you can get to by flying around the known Star Wars galaxy. Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, and Anakin were all captured by the Celestials and taken to Mortis, and Mortis itself is a planet of the Force. Everything there is stronger in the Force, which is why Anakin could take both the son and daughter down without having reached his full potential yet. It's the same reason why Qui-Gon could manifest himself to Obi-Wan on Mortis. The last point that I want to mention about the Mortis planet is that when the arena lights up, it resembles the World Between Worlds a little bit, and more on that later. So we talked about the Mortis Celestials, now let's take a look at Anakin's life and see if he could fit that role. First thing we know about Anakin's birth is that we know from the comics as well as lore from deleted scenes within Revenge of the Sith that Palpatine could be seen as a father to Anakin in a certain way. We know Palpatine tried to manipulate the Force to create life like his master Plagueis, and that the Force responded back by putting a baby inside of Shmi Skywalker, the chosen one, Anakin Skywalker. This has some obvious threads to the events that took place over 2,000 years ago in the real world with Jesus. Anyways, second point I want to mention is how Anakin was able to control two of the Mortis gods at one time, when the father had gotten weak and was unable to control them with as much authority any longer. Like I mentioned earlier, that makes Anakin the rightful heir to the throne, I guess you could say. The third point I want to bring up is that how we all know Anakin had lived both sides of good and evil. But wait, there is more here to it. If you guys really look at all the dates of when things happened, Anakin was 22 and getting close to 23 when he fell to the dark side and became Darth Vader. When Vader was redeemed back to the light in Return of the Jedi, it was around 23 years later. That's nearly a perfect balance between light and dark. Nearly 23 and 23, giving Anakin Skywalker the perfect experience needed to take on the role of the father. And hey, just like Anakin became one with the Force in canon, you can as well by becoming one with this channel. Subscribe for more content and back to the video.
He sure would appreciate it.
Now I decided to choose this theory to run with because of one little thing I mentioned earlier about how the World Between Worlds is resembled in the arena. And let's not forget, the mural entering the World Between Worlds was a picture of the father, son, and daughter. And what if the Celestials made the World Between Worlds similar to the Infinity Gates made by the Qua in the old EU? The Infinity Gates are basically these portals where it allows the Qua to go from planet to planet instantly. Now the World Between Worlds obviously goes through time and space as well. And what if that's why we see Anakin the way he is, because he's the father watching over the World Between Worlds? For the record, I don't really think that we are seeing the actual Anakin Skywalker at the end of episode 4, but this could be a little nice foreshadow to us seeing more of Anakin's story in a different project. Now don't come throwing shade at me if you don't agree with me or if I'm wrong. I just like to theorize as well as everyone else, and I would love to read your theories down below in the comments, so drop them down there. To end things off, I want to mention how much I would love to see this as a continuation of Anakin's story without completely milking the time between episodes 1 and 6 and actually going further, expanding his story to something we haven't seen in Star Wars before. And in this way, he can actually affect a lot of the story. And maybe, just maybe, if Starkiller himself becomes actual canon in the dark side variant, we may be able to see Starkiller as the son and Ahsoka being the daughter. In my opinion, that'd be really cool. Let me know what you think in the comments. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like on the video if you liked it, and remember that Jesus loves you. May the Force be with you guys, and I'll see you all very, very soon.